Hi, welcome to our channel. That says Doc at the barn. Where is he? He's not here. Anyway, you notice I got a 9th. No, I didn't have foot surgery. I'm a pirate. We're trying to be a pirate. I'm a movie star. I want to be a movie star, so I gotta audition some parts. Let me show you another one I want to audition for. Did you turn the camera off? Well, what do you think? It's gonna be a movie that they're gonna, cause what came out of the vegetable garden? Anyway, look for me in the theaters.
Well, thank you, Lucas. But let's now, they've come here to look and find out and figure out how to make money. We're going to show you some things on listing. I got to go. Okay, bye. I'm going to show you some tricks how to list certain items and things that you can do. As well as, we want you to pay close attention to the fact that the conclusion of the second video where we had a bad experience, the man gave us 5 hours. What did we find? Well, we're going to show you some of the things that we got, and hopefully you decide if it was worth it. Let's go move on. Thank you. Now, one of the important things about listing sometimes is you get into a situation where you want to list things that are going to sell. And trying to know what that is kind of hard. But take a look at this picture right here. This is the Star Wars shirts. Now, Star Wars is very popular, and sometimes Star Wars pajamas are really good. But this is just the top. But you notice, not only do I take pictures of it, but the order that I take pictures of it. But you also notice this too. Here's the example of the label. The label says what size it is. And sometimes when you have clothes that are a child's and it says large, that's a whole lot different than a large for me. So you see, a child's large is different, smaller. So what I've tried to do, and it's really helped me, is you see these pictures here with the measurements. Take the time to do the measurements and take pictures of the measurements. That way people can interpret it. Because people will actually say, well, you say it's 17.5 inches long. Did you consider this or did you consider that? And maybe I did, maybe I didn't. My earlier pictures I've always had problems. Sometimes when people want to know details. And then I got to hunt back the piece of clothing as an example, and then find out, oh, okay, yes, it's got this, it's got that, but if you're taking pictures, it makes a difference. I had a case where somebody challenged a particular item that I had bought on Mercari, and I thought I sort of stated and indicated that it was a different size, that it turned out to be wrong, but I took pictures of it. Mercari basically said they should have figured it out by looking at the pictures. So they ruled in my favor, and I was surprised. When I was with eBay rarely ruled in your favor. Mercari has been very consistent and very fair, and I've had more successful successful ones that they ruled in my favor than not. So take a look at these pictures here, and then we're going to show you some more. Let me show you some more that we list, and notice the variety and how we portray them. So let's move on. Now, a lot of times when you're listing comic books, there's put in a plastic bag. You can see right there, it kind of reflects, kind of funny, and it kind of hurts the eyes. So to get a good photograph, it's always good when you're listing comic books is to make sure that they're out of the bag, like so, and taken out. Now, when you're taking pictures, first of all, when you're taking pictures, what I like to do is I take the front picture, number 1, number 2, the back. Then I'll turn to the third page, and I'll take a picture right down here, which shows, for instance, the when it was published, what year it was, the number. It confirms what you're already going to show them. And then what I like to do is I'll turn around and I'll find certain pages that I'll capitalize on just to show, give an enticement for them to want to buy this comic book and what the story's all about. Then the other stage what I do is I will take pictures of it, maybe like this, to show the condition of the comic book. That's all important and all crucial to whenever you're listing comic books. Now let's go to Funko Pops. Funko Pops is an entirely different animal in the sense that you take a picture of it right here on the cover, and it's always good to flip it here, 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 and here. And the reason is very simple. Is this shows that it's not counterfeit, that it's a genuine article. Also, a lot of times people that are buying it, they're paying attention to the details on the corners, if it's flawed, if there's errors in it. That affects the value, that affects the acceptability of the buyer. Now this is a big boy, big poo. Here's the things about stuffed animals. Right now, when you're looking at a stuffed animal, it's always good to get it clean and it's got to smell nice. Now, they're never going to tell. They're never going to know how it smells. But they will when they get it. So you make sure it's good and clean, and you become especially critical of crucial areas. For instance, if like in this particular one, there's a flaw. Look at that. There's a little hole right there. Now, you see these threads. We're going to trim those threads out and clean this out. Now, I'm going to reclean this. If it doesn't clean up real good, I might decide not to list it. But if I do list it, I'm going to take pictures of it and point it out. People want to know, how tall is it? Well, you can state how tall it is, but here's the best way to do it. And you back up there, you see, for instance, the cameraman can show you as you back up. You notice at the angle, you can see the size. So a person can look at that and they can get an idea of how big it is, how tall it is. At the same time, too, how wide is it? Well, you're going to measure, you see, because people will interpret measurements differently. You can measure the stomach, and it's like 10 inches. But then, again, you measure the arms. That shows you the real size. So you can see how crucial that is. Also pay attention, a lot of times there's special markings on it that shows you what kind of item it is. You see the tag down here? I always take a picture of the tags because people will want to know what kind of material is it made up of. The material is described here. Also the manufacturer many times is mentioned, like this one. This is a Fisher-Price toy. You can also scan that and find out exactly maybe that bear itself. And what I do is when I do that, I go to eBay and I find a similar picture and I take all the information that they have on that. But here's the danger of that. Make sure you look at all the other listings, because I've had one situation where someone had bought a toy. Something like this. And what they did was they listed it as something entirely different. Now, this brings us to the toy. This toy is unique. It looks pretty complete. But in reality, it is complete. In reality, I got this one mixed up. This one's missing a tail. Oh, I think this one's missing wings. There's wings that go in there. You see the two openings right there? And when you see that in the picture, you say, oh, so it's missing something. So the idea there is to make sure that you have it complete. If not, you turn it around and you state it's missing wings and point to it. Take a picture of that. Again, how big is it? People don't know. You don't know if it's this big or if it's this big. But if you go and you did mention the size and they're looking at the pictures, well, look at that. Now you know it's 5.5 inches as opposed to some that could be 12 inches. You see, there's a big difference between 5.5 and 12 inches, and that difference in price. Stuffed animals, as I said, this is the same situation regarding that. Size is everything. You put your measuring tape, you show that pictures, and you always do the first picture. I mean, this is the second, this is the third one maybe. You might want to show the size of the feet, take pictures of it. Always show the backside, because people want to, even if it's a shirt, for instance, like the picture that I showed you earlier of the Star Wars shirt, it's just black. But people will sit there and type you a letter, and they'll say, well, what's the back look like? Well, I don't know. I got it all packed up and everything. So we hope that this is helpful, but also at the same time, too, packaging is important. Sometimes you use a gallon bag like this. Now, obviously, Winnie the Pooh's too big for this one, but Spider-Man's not. He can fit in there quite easily, and that keeps it fresh. A lot of times when I clean it, I'll put a nice little freshener on it, but make sure it's good and dry, because otherwise it'll trap that in and sometimes it'll mold. Then you kind of hurt yourself in making it look good. Sometimes it's even good afterwards to take a picture of it when you're all done in the plastic bag and state it comes in plastic cover, and sometimes it's boarded. So I hope that's all helpful to you. And we look forward to you enjoying the thrill and happiness of listing things, because sometimes it can be tiring and boring, but it can be fun if you do it right. And then if you're looking at, and I've had people ask me questions, I go right back to the listings. I said, well, look at picture number 5. That's the size of it. So it's important to basically be as thorough as you can and the time that you're listing, and ultimately that will pay off for you. So happy listing, folks. There's one other thing I wanted to show you, and it deals once again about measurements, but clothing is very crucial. Let's take a look at this and I'll show you what I mean. So as the camera moves down here, this is important. As I said before, you measure, take a picture of the length, which we mentioned too, but it's also crucial because they interpret, for instance, if it's boot size or something, I don't know what that means, but I show the measurements of the opening of the leg. See how that's crucial. Then what I found out is I found out that you got to measure the inseam, because people ask questions about that. So you put the measurements on that, on the inseam. The next thing you do is, because sometimes the rear end is bigger than the hips. There's a picture of 22 as an example, and then the waist there you see is 20 and a half. So, and then of course, as I said before, I always take a picture of the size and any information, relative information I can do, and then flipping it over. In this particular case, you have something that it looks like it's starting to fall apart. So I'm not sure if I would sell this. I probably will, but you point out the flaws and state the flaws. By a lot of times take a picture and just pointing to that and everything. That shows you what we're dealing with. So that's the end of the listing. So thank you for being patient with us. This gives you kind of an idea of the doors are left open. That one's clean. This one here, oh, that one's clean too. I think it's the last one. Still got merchandise in it. I guess people left it or whatever. Yep, this is what they got. So if they had a clean deposit, they probably didn't get it back. But we'll see how it works, because I'm supposed to send them pictures. We'll see how it goes. And this is the facility. How sad is that? Well, I'm sorry to say I'm back. No combinations, no numbers, no nothing. I'm gonna go home. I need my nap. After today, I might take two. Oh, Lord. Well, as I was leaving the facility, my phone went off. Got the codes. Let's take a look and see what we got. So hopefully this is worth the wait. Okay, I'm gonna have to. The door is locked, jammed or something. Anyway, I'll show it to you afterwards. Okay, folks, this is the one I paid the most for, and I think it's because of the fact that I thought it had that right there. I paid $20 for this one, and well, smells bad. A lot of work. Gotta get going. After all, I'm only 4 hours behind. Number 17. I had another vendor, another auctioneer person. Anybody watches it, you know, Ernie, he came by. He bought all the units, and I offered him this unit for free. He told me I was crazy to buy it. Right now, I don't think I can argue with him. But if there's work to be had, the work is here. So let me get going. Number 17. This is locker number 5. These are some of the things I got. Hopefully that's enough. Britney Spears. Oh, Lord. Anyway, this was a losing proposition. Something not fit for a pocket king by no means. Anyway, we show you some of the other stuff that's done real good. There's actually come out of this locker. There's some antique stuff that looks really cool. And this is I've been doing this since Tuesday. Today's Thursday. Way too long. Sun up to sundown. Never gonna buy a locker like this again. Not just one. I ended up buying 3. And I think what they did was they just used it just to dump trash. I got some baseball cards out of this one, but not enough to make it worth it by all means. Anyway, let me get going. And well, I must tell you, this is Thursday. I'm very tired. But the last locker I'm working on, you know, you have to put a price on your time and everything. I'm really not sure how I can do that at this stage of the game. I do know I only paid $20 for this one locker, and we've already pulled up probably at least 6 nice chairs, be $100, really like antique chairs, and also a china set, which looks very unique. Maybe, you know, $100, $150. It's very, very pretty. You'll see pictures of it later. And there's also other little odds and ends that we've been picking up. So, you know, when it's all said and done, it's going to be a little profitable, but very exhausting. Anyway, stay tuned. This is part 2, and part 1, you know how frustrating it was. I mentioned just to get these people to work with, and I'll be honest, tell you the truth, I'm never going to buy from them again. And I might not ever buy these kind of lockers again. It's certainly not that many. 3 days on clean lockers, no fun. No fun for a 70-year-old man, no. Okay, so we see here a lot of this came out of that locker. This is the trash. Like you can see the freezer, that was no good. Dishwasher was no good. Other little items that were, so those leftover skeletons you can see are the mattress and everything. And that's going to the scrapyard. And we're going to see how much we can get out of this. We have $150 to make up, just to kind of give you an example overall what my cost of this was. If you look over to the right, you're going to see that I spent approximately $150, $100 in gas, no, actually $100 in gas, and then $70 on the actual lockers, the costs and their surcharges and everything like that. I spent 2 days of working. I figured that'd be about 19 hours. So 19 hours, and what I'm able to get from here will subtract from that. So spending 19 hours, $170 in gas. Hopefully we'll get about $60 or $70 out of the scrap metal. So that'll put a little dent in it. And then we'll show you some of the other items that we have that we haven't fixed up, like for instance, like his chair. There's 2 chairs like this, you see right there. The table, that could be something. This is a unique stand. We're gonna find that. There's another chair there. A lot of this is cleaned up, checked out, determine if we can resell it. This is an old time radio, but it looks like it's been gutted. It looks like if you want an old radio antique, this might be it. There is a stove back there. It's a electric stove, but anything that's been in storage that long, I'm very, very leery of. These are just some of the items, but if you look over to the right, there's a picture of some silverware or dining set that we got. In fact, that's very, very hopefully profitable. If we found the other part of it, we'd have something worthy, but we only basically have that, and that might be a little bit less money. That, and of course the chairs that we're going to show you. All in all, a few little odds and ends. All in all, I've done better. Anyway, this is part 2. Can you see that? Wow, that's the best I've ever been. I figured $70, $80. It was heavy. $159.11. Ooh, that just about paid for my gasoline and my lockers. That's nice. Now let's go inside there and let's go get the money. And of course, this are the 6 chairs that came out of the unit. We're selling 6 chairs for $125 or $30 a piece. This will represent our profit. We got a couple little things for $2 that came out of that item. This is the 6th chair and everything. Of course, we got a barrel too. It was a lot of fun. This barrel was a lot of fun. There were no monkeys in there, but they were a lot of fun. I love barrels. Like they said, let's have a barrel of fun. Now I know what they mean. Well, I want to thank you for watching this video. Be sure what you can do is go ahead and like it and subscribe. So thank you for taking the time to watch this. We promise you we'll continue to offer a variety of things, and we loved hearing your comments too. So thanks again.